Good evening, everyone. I hope you all are having a wonderful evening. This video is dedicated to James, one of my loyal and faithful subscribers who have been with me for a very long time. James, I dedicate this video to you as per our conversation. Now, anyone else who can benefit from this, it would be great. It would be absolutely great. All are welcome. But this video is for James, but again, all are welcome. Okay, so I'm going to jump right into it. As you can see, it is late at night and I am walking, doing my power walk. And I'm taking you with me because I want to share with you one of the reasons why I walk late at night when there's hardly anyone else out. Mostly because I won't say mostly, but a great deal has to do with the fact that it's beautiful. And it's nice to be out at night when it's just you and nature, you and God and nature. And no people, just peace. You know, when you look up at the stars and you see them or you see clouds, whatever the case is, but you're alone. You have privacy. And you don't have to share the sidewalk. And you don't have to worry about someone approaching you or talking to you or being loud and noisy. You have that privacy. Now, there's also another reason. Social anxiety disorder. Afraid that someone's going to talk to you. Afraid that someone is going to bother you. And just flat out being uncomfortable because you have to share space. And it gives you a bit of an anxiety. You look away if someone is approaching and you have to share the sidewalk. You look away, or you even pretend to be having a conversation with someone on your cell phone. Because the anxiety of being approached, the anxiety of having to share your space comes over you. This thing is real. You know, it sounds stupid, but this thing is real. Okay? There's so many levels and degrees and angles to anxiety. Whether it's general, whether it's social, all of that, it doesn't matter. You still have this feeling of overwhelmingness come over you. You start to sweat. You feel that anxiousness, and you can't even verbalize. There have been instances, and thank God it's been many years ago, where someone would just ask me to do something for them, visit them, go somewhere with them, do something fun with them. And this foreboding would come over me. You know that you're going to have to do this on this particular day. You know that your schedule is going to be inconvenienced. Whatever the case is. And you can't stop thinking about it. It invades your sleep. And it just gets worse and worse as the day approaches. And I'll give you an example. I was asked to go somewhere that I didn't want to go. It wasn't nothing big. Just somebody wanted me to visit them. And the day that I was supposed to visit them, I was fine. Up until the moment came when it was time to visit them. I couldn't speak. I got nauseous. I got sweaty. My words were slurred like I was going to have a stroke or was having a stroke. And I had massive diarrhea. I remember the anxiousness that came over me when a friend asked me to be in his video. And I had foreboding about it all week. And then when the day came, I totally freaked out. sweating, incoherentness, couldn't get my words out, and then massive diarrhea. And I ended up letting him down because I couldn't be there. Everybody on the crew was waiting for me to be there, and I couldn't be there. And I had to call him while I was on the John, on the toilet, to explain to him, this is why I can't come. This. He never asked me to be in a video with him ever again. My best friend's wedding. I had anxiety about seeing her mother. And I couldn't be in her wedding. Now, granted, this was many years ago, and it took years and years of practice. But I just wanted to give you a little bit of a backstory of just the anxiety part that I've suffered from throughout the years. And I know that it has stemmed from childhood incidences. The anxiety of being in a crowded mall, the anxiety about being around a certain type of people, feeling like they're looking at me or they're judging me. Going somewhere with my husband, maybe to one of his officers' parties or gatherings where the officers and the officer wives get together, and the officers' wives club. I can't do any of that. I couldn't do it then, and I can't do it now. Because I don't want to embarrass my husband. I want to represent him for who he is. And I don't want to get around these officers' wives and say something stupid. Okay? It's just social anxiety. Just the anxiety of not being qualified to fit in the social environment, the social gathering. Not being able to go to my own father-in-law's funeral. And I had to let everybody down because I couldn't get out the house. Because it was so overwhelming. This thing is real. Now, let me go into what I've been doing throughout the years to get to where I'm at today. Now, let me first say, I am not a doctor. I am not a nurse. I'm not even a medical assistant or a medical secretary. Okay? I am just sharing with you my experience and what has worked for me. And it may not work for you. I'm doing this video as a favor to a friend, James. And we're just going to walk here together. We're going to walk and talk. And anyone that can be blessed by it or can just relate to it and want to have a conversation, that's great. But this is what I've done. And I have no regrets. And I am, and it's working, and it's been working for years. Are there moments when I miss certain things? Of course. Yeah. I used to be a counselor. Okay, I used to, in the juvenile system, counsel teenage kids that were incarcerated. And I've also did public speaking. Let's put it that way. So I have no problem going on stage and doing theater. I have no problem going on stage and doing public speaking. No problem at all. But get me in an environment where it's just me and people, and I'm not, I'm not speaking, I'm not there for a purpose like that. It's totally different. When I go to a restaurant, I make sure I have the window seat. I make sure I'm in an area where there is the least amount of people. The anxiety of somebody watching me eat. The anxiety of someone overhearing my conversation with my husband. Stupid stuff. Really. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. But it is what it is. So what I've done, and this is what I'm sharing with you guys, many years ago, I wrote letters and I had face-to-face conversations with every single close person in my life. And I terminated my relationship with them because I no longer wanted to hurt people. I didn't want to disappoint people. And I didn't want to be hurt either. And I had to kick everyone out of my life. So here I am, age 54, with no best friends. I don't have a girlfriend or nothing like that. You know, I don't have a sidekick. It's just me and my husband. And I am happy that way. The less people in my life, the less drama. I can get into trouble because I don't hold back. If I say what's on my mind, and that can get me in trouble. Sometimes I don't know when to hold them. I don't know when to fold them. And I don't know when to walk away. That has happened in the past. Now, you may say that I'm a chicken, I'm hiding out, I'm not dealing with it. You call it what you want, I don't care. I had to find a way to deal with it in my way because I had did what everybody else said. Do this, do that, try this, try that. And nothing that anybody else did or said worked. Big Pharma, they don't have medication that's really good. Everything has terrible side effects, including weight gain. So here I am, age 54, and I take oxytocin. It helps a lot. But I had to make changes in my lifestyle. And those changes is I created a prison for myself. I go shopping when other people don't. I go to the beach alone or with my husband, not with a group of friends. You're not going to see me playing volleyball at the beach. I go to the beach in the fall and the winter, not in the summer. So I avoid humanity, call it that. But I have peace, and it's whatever it works. And that's what I do. Thanksgiving Day, I was invited to my niece's house, niece-in-law. I could have went. I really could have. I'm comfortable with her. I'm just not comfortable with myself. And the anxiety of going would have killed me. So I had to be honest. Well, they know me anyway. Because I've been an open book with everyone. Everyone knows how I am, so they have no expectations of me. If I'm there, I'm there. If I'm not, I'm not. So they were sad that I didn't go. But we text, and I sent my love and support that way. They sent me over a plate, which they did not have to do because I had my own little thing prepared, But it would have been nice to have gone, But it was safe to not go. So that's just an example. And I don't have any regrets. But that's just an example of how I cope with social anxiety disorder and foreboding. James, you asked me to make a video for you. And I gladly, willingly did. But I still experienced anxiety. Like, is my video going to be good enough for James? Is James going to be pleased with it? I'm not that great at making videos on YouTube. I'm sure that James can find someone else to give him the satisfaction that he's looking for with his ASMR, and it stuck with me for hours, and I was going to do it Sunday night because I couldn't stop thinking about it. How am I going to do it? I'm going to set it up on the iPod. I'm going to hold it in my hand. And I didn't want to, let him down because he's been such a support to me. James, you've been such a great support to me. But it doesn't matter. It just doesn't friggin' matter. The anxiety always comes. But Another thing that I've done is I talk to myself. The same way that I was able to counsel the teenagers is what I do for myself. Me and Jesus, we sit down and we have a one-on-one. Me, myself, and I, we have a one-on-one. And I step outside of myself and I have a conversation with myself. And I talk myself through things. And it works most of the time, but not all of the time. So, I have the good and the bad. When it gets too bad, which it doesn't anymore, because I know what to do. I avoid certain situations. I avoid, getting myself involved in things that I know that will cause anxiety. And I'm happy with it. I don't miss going out with friends. I don't miss any of that stuff. Been there, done that. I'm just good sitting at home or going somewhere by myself, honestly. So with that being said, that's what I do. I talk to myself to calm myself down. Because when you're in the middle of a panic attack or that anxiety or that foreboding, you forget to take your oxytocin. You really do sometimes. So I take a deep breath. I really do. And I talk to myself. I have a conversation with myself in my mind. And sometimes I'll even speak out loud. Because ain't nobody there but me. And that's what I do. And I sort things out in my mind. What's worth it? What's not worth it? Is this worth this? And I weigh things out. And if me being uncomfortable outweighs whatever it is that I'm anxious about, then I get rid of it. Sorry. I'll give you another example. I used to have a cleaning lady, 2 cleaning ladies, come and clean my condo. Yes, sir, I did. Once a month, they come and do a deep clean. But I would have anxiety. Every time they came the night before, I would have these anxiety issues and panic attacks because someone is coming into my space and they're touching my things. And after a while, one lady, the good lady, I ended up taking advantage of her. I put dirt under the rug. You know what? You can get spoiled when you have people come clean your house. And I never did that. And I said, well, the cleaning lady's coming tomorrow. I don't feel like it. I just pushed the dirt under the rug. That's a dirty damn shame. It is, and she was so hurt too when she looked under that rug and saw that dirt there. And I was so ashamed of myself. But then there was the other lady that was with her. I didn't like her. We didn't get along. And if I don't like you and we're not getting along, you ain't cleaning my house. So I had some problems. I just can't get right. So the anxiety of having someone come over, the same thing when I'm getting my HVAC cleaned, the anxiety of someone coming into my house. There's foreboding the day before, and the anxiousness. But it's not as bad as it used to be when I was younger because I finally have control over it. And this took years of practice, talking to myself, taking control of every situation. I refuse to be put in a situation that I don't want to be put in. Regardless, it will benefit me, yes, to have a cleaning crew, a cleaning lady to come every month or every 2 weeks. Yes, it would. But is it worth the anxiety? You understand what I'm saying? So that's what I do. That's what I do. And, it is what it is. I was going to say something, but I forgot. It was another situation where I would benefit greatly, but because of my hang-ups, I don't take part in it, and I can't remember what I was going to tell you. But that's what it is. I'm going to stop. I said, again, I take control over my life. And I live my life accordingly based on my disease, my disorder. And that may not work for everybody. You understand what I'm saying? And I take everything moment by moment, day by day, just like that. You know what I mean? And sometimes I don't have no anxiety, and then sometimes I do. Tomorrow, the people are coming to put in a new mattress in my husband's bat cave room, his little workout room. And I don't have any anxiety about it. I don't know why, but I don't. So, with that being said, when it comes, it comes. But when it doesn't come, that's great. But see, I know how it works now because I've been dealing with it for so many years. And, I can honestly say that I've mastered it. I will not put myself in a position where that will trigger my anxiety. And if that means I have to live my life in a prison, that's fine because I'm the jailer. I make the rules. And it works for me. And I have peace. And I'm cool with it. I'm good. Talking to myself throughout the years, learning what bothers me, learning what triggers my anxiety, and mastering it, taking control over it, and preventing it from being in my life. You know what I'm saying? Because nothing is worth sacrificing your peace. And like I said, and I pray about it a lot, all the time, And so, yeah. I mean, I can go on and tell you a whole lot of more stuff, but I want to keep this video under 30 minutes and just, kind of like make sure I get to the point, stay on the point. So this is my advice to you, James, and to anyone else who deals with with anxiety and who deals with panic attacks or who's bipolar, whatever you want to call it. Find a way to take control of your situation. You know what I'm saying? Find a way to say no to anything that triggers your anxiety. Take control over it instead of letting it take control over you, especially if you are not on medication. Talking with yourself, thinking things through, saying no to people, saying no and being firm about it. Sorry, I can't do that. Whatever it takes. And if that means you have to eliminate certain people out of your life, then so be it, because you got to have your peace. I have people who are in my circle, but they don't come over my house. People know that I do not like to talk on the phone. So they text me and I text them back. If we talk on the phone, it's because it's something really serious. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a person that talks on the phone. That's too much. It's an interruption. So, I have to do what works for me so that I can have my continued peace. Now, that does not mean if you're dying and you're in serious trouble and you need help that I'm going to say no. Of course not. We all have our boundaries. We all have our limits. I'm talking about those everyday little things, those little foxes that spoil the vine. That's what I'm talking about, those things. I drove all the way to Virginia to go help out a friend who's like a brother to me. And he was in trouble. It was because of his cat. Something really bad happened to his cat. And, and I drove. And I was there for him. And, and it was an emergency. And I had to rearrange my day, and all. But I was still there. And there was no anxiety, But, I guess it depends on who it is or what's involved. But I knew that when I got there, I was going to be seeing people that I had never met before. And, the anxiety did not arise. Thank God it didn't. So I deal with things as they come. But I know my limits, and that's what you got to do. You have got to know what your limits are and what you will allow in your life and what you will allow in your space. And anything that triggers anxiety and panic attacks, you got to say no to. You know, now that might not work for you, but I'm just saying it works. It worked for me. And I've been doing it now for 20 years. 20 years. Because my husband and I have been married for 22 years. And the anxieties and the panic attacks became really strong, I'd say, in our second year of marriage. Yeah. And it just got worse and worse. And then finally, I went and I saw a therapist and I started getting some help and I started learning how to deal with myself. So I'm not on any meds. I'm not seeing any psychiatrist or psychologist. I just take my oxytocin when I realize that I need to take it. Most of it is a lifestyle change. So with that being said, I'm going to close out this video. Thank you for walking with me. Thank you for hearing me out. And I hope and I pray that this video did help somebody with a little bit of clarity or some ease or anything. But the main thing, guys, is to remember this. You have to take control of the situation and not let that situation take control over you. The most important thing is self-care. And self-care is not selfish. Because if you ain't right, it ain't right. You got to come first. There's times when you got to come first. And mental health is important. So, my blessings to all of you. James, I love you. I appreciate you. Have a wonderful night, and I'm out.